come off at all?
Does this thing come off?
Yeah, it might be Velcroed on there or taped on there.
I'm not untaping.
Yeah, I'm not,
All
I'm
right,
not
I'll
doing
just.
that.
Can I undo it?
But I don't want somebody to think I'm a member of the state attorney.
Real quick. Sorry, John.
Sorry. You can have the whole look at it. These guys have to have court.
Okay. Well,
Oh, I don't have to, so it's okay.
hold on for a second here. Thank you. I'm sorry.
It's all right.
Sorry,
Trying
guys.
to
I was
help.
trying
No, you
to
were trying to
help.
help. Yeah. I know.
You were hoping.
No deed goes unpunished. Let's try this. How are you today, sir?
I'm doing great, man. Thank you. Yeah. Where are you going to court? Look at the back of my head. Yeah. Okay. Okay. You're gonna wait for him. Okay, you're right. Okay. You're going to give out the stuff about
I did
the
already.
Dachshund? You already? Thank you.
So it's going to fall over.
All right, I got it. Okay. All right, if we're ready, good afternoon. My name is John McCarthy. I'm the state's attorney for Montgomery County. Steven Alston, now age 18, pled guilty today to attempted first-degree murder. The event that gave rise to the plea here today took place on January the 21st, 2022 at Magruder High School in the Durwood section of Montgomery County. The plea this afternoon was taken by Judge David Boynton, the senior circuit court judge here in Montgomery County. Maryland sentencing guidelines for the charge to which Mr. Alston pled guilty suggest a guideline range of between 15 to 25 years executed incarceration. The state will ask for a sentence to the Patuxent Youthful Offender Program within the Department of Correction. I believe that before the press conference began, we printed out some material about the Patuxent institution. We provided that to you to refer to regarding today's sentencing or today's plea. The facts as were outlined in court just moments ago were on January the 21st, 2022 at approximately 1 minute past 1 p.m. There was a call that came to the Montgomery County Police regarding an injured person at Magruder High School. The injured person turned out to be a 15-year-old sophomore student at the high school, DeAndre Thomas. Mr. Thomas and his family did not attend today's proceedings. They will be present at the sentencing. The two young men, and when Mr. Thomas was discovered, he was discovered that he had been shot in the pelvic area of his body, and he was ultimately transported to Suburban Hospital with life-threatening injuries. As was stated during the course of the proffer today by Ms. Fenton, the two young men planned to meet in the bathroom that particular day. The defendant, as soon as the victim walked into the bathroom, immediately pulled a gun and pointed it directly at his head. He motioned to try to get the gun out of the way. The defendant stepped back and pulled the trigger, injuring him in the area of the body I outlined earlier. There were a number of individuals that were in the bathroom at the time. It is estimated that the 8 to 10 additional students were in the bathroom. We know that because a security guard who was alert walking down the hallway saw the scramble of 8 to 10 boys running from the bathroom. Immediately following the shooting, because he thought it was peculiar, he went inside and discovered the young man potentially lethally injured laying on the floor. A videotape obtained from Montgomery County Schools reflects that the defendant, after shooting this young man, is seen skipping down the hallway on his way back to class. At some point in time, it became very quickly, the initial security guard who was rendered aid immediately to the young man who had been shot summons a nurse. Those two individuals are responsible for this young man's life being saved. There was a lockdown that was placed in the high school immediately after it was learned that there had been a shooting, and all students were asked and directed to take refuge in individual classrooms. The defendant, in this case, Mr. Alston, was walking down the hallway, not in his assigned classroom, but a teacher saw him, grabbed him because of the lockdown. She did not know that he was continued to be armed, pulled him into a classroom with other students, and closed the door behind her because the school had gone into a lockdown. Ultimately, at some point in time, none of the individuals who were in the bathroom reported this to any of the authorities or to the police. However, through social media that was going on throughout the building, some of the individuals that were in the bathroom were tweeting out that Steven shot Dre. There were only 3 Stevens in the school. An investigation immediately took place to try to identify which of the 3 Stevens was involved in the shooting. It was very quickly identified that we were looking for Steven Alston. I guess at this point in time it would be appropriate to give great thanks and recognition to the police efforts to make that identification as quickly as possible, and for the cooperation of Montgomery County Schools and for Principal Lee Evans, who was on the scene helping with the police coordinating this investigation. Steven Alston was ultimately located because there was a message that was sent by the school to their teachers by email: "Is Steven Alston in your classroom?" That teacher then knew that she had the potential shooter in her classroom. SWAT team staged. They went in there, and without further incident, they took Mr. Alston into custody. At the time he was apprehended, he still did have the weapon in his possession and a clip, and he had taken the gun apart at that point in time, and a portion of the gun was laying on the floor, another portion was in a bag that he was carrying, but he was taken into custody and the gun was recovered. The sentencing in this case was not held today. It will be held on December the 22nd at 9:30 a.m. It's estimated that that hearing will take several hours, and again, it is anticipated that the members of the family of the victim will be heard and that will provide some testimony about victim impact to the court at that point in time. We are recommending, as part of the sentence in this case, the defendant be sentenced to Patuxent Institution. Patuxent Institution is a division of the Department of Corrections. It was founded in 1955, but in 1974, they rededicated a large portion of that program to young violent offenders who are accused of crimes under the age of 21. During the course of incarceration, they receive psychotherapy and other forms of mental health treatment while they're in the institution. again, I would refer you to the handout for other details about Patuxent Institute. But again, as was outlined in court, there's a cap in this case. The maximum period of incarceration the court can give is 25 years. That is what but again, the court can give less. But we are recommending he go into the Youthful Offenders Program at Patuxent State Hospital. So, having said that, I do want to acknowledge the extraordinary work of Donna Fenton and Carlotta Woodward. Carlotta heads my juvenile division. I want to give a shout out to Montgomery County Public Schools. I was there the day that this shooting happened for about 5 or 6 hours. There was a really a wonderful collegiality and wonderful working relationship that went on that day that brought this resolution to a peaceable end. Lots of trauma for the kids, but thank God no one else was injured. I would also like to acknowledge the men and women of Montgomery County Police Department. They came in there, and it was really a magnificent professional effort and a collaboration between all those parties. And again, I want to thank them for their magnificent work in this case. Having said that, I'll take a couple of questions. Yes. We would not have participated in the plea if we were not satisfied with the way this is being resolved. Look, he's pled to attempted first-degree murder. He came pre-armed, and he shot directly at another student in an attempt to end his life. He will suffer a profound sanction. We're well aware of his age. He was under the age of 18 when this happened. There is a youthful offender program that's been in place here in Maryland that seems to be an appropriate place for him to be in. This is jail. He's going to jail. He's not free in the community. He's going to jail. He's going to go to jail for a long time, but he'll receive a kind of treatment that hopefully at some point in time when he does return to the community, he'll be a better person for that period of time. So I think this is an intelligent, well thought out resolution to this matter in light of all the facts and circumstances in the case.
John, how many years do you ask for in this facility?
By virtue of the cap, we cannot ask for more than 25. But again, we're recommending we're not recommending a sentence. We're recommending placement at Patuxent Institution. We will set forth all the facts and circumstances, and you will hear from the victims, and then it will be up to Judge Boynton. Hopefully, the sentence will be somewhere between 15 to 25 years, but that'll be up to the judge.
So, Alston's attorney had mentioned in court that he could get less than 10 years if it's appealed and the judge were to order.
I'm not going to speculate. Let me just say this. I have great respect for Judge Boynton. He's our senior judge here in the community. I'm confident that the defense will put forth what they think he should consider. And I know that the two extraordinary lawyers are standing. We'll do our homework too. And it'll be all there. And I am confident that Judge Boynton will fashion an appropriate sentence.
And what did the Thomas family say?
They did not want to go through the trauma of being here today, but I think they are satisfied with what's happened. I know that both Donna and Carlotta have been working with them. They know exactly what's happening. So do the schools. They know what's going on. We don't do this in secret. They knew that the hearing was today. They've chosen not to come today, and that's their right. But they have also indicated they will clearly participate at the time of sentencing. But I think they are in agreement with what's happening here today. They understand what the potential exposure was, and I think they're satisfied with the agreement was reached in this matter.
And any update on anyone else being charged right now? I know that it's repetitive. We talk about it.
Yeah, I have no update on that at this time.
So can you just clarify the plea agreement, 15 to 25 years, no trial, he cannot appeal, and the recommendation is to go to...
Yeah, the advantage of a plea always is the fact that you don't have the appellate review of mistakes that could potentially happen during the course of the trial. It brings a little bit more certainty to it, and quite candidly, it's a resolution. Look, The family of the victim's there's a lot of trauma that happens to all families when these things happen. And the victim, this young man, I think, has been through 13 surgeries now, is the last count I heard. This is, it's a miracle he's alive. It's a miracle he's alive. During those first couple of days when we were monitoring this situation, I will tell you several nights in a row, we did not think he was going to live to the next day. But through his strength and wonderful doctors that have assisted him, he's survived. And it's been tough on his mom. Some of you I've seen that you've done interviews with his mother. He comes from a wonderful family, and they're struggling to get on with their lives. So.
Now, for your office, did any of the claims that Alston Jr. was, also a victim of bullying and there this ongoing dispute have any role in your office?
I think that this case was fully investigated. We are aware of the ongoing problems between the two boys. That's part of, it's a fact. And so when you're trying to figure out what's fair, you consider all the facts. Okay, thanks everybody. Sentencing is December the 22nd at 9:30 a.m. in the same courtroom we just left. Thank you.